Welcome to another session of weCONECT, where we explore the ideas, companies, and key players that continue to raise the bar in e-discovery.
Hi, I'm Ian Campbell, CEO of iCONECT, and welcome to weCONECT, where we speak to people in the know in the industry of e-discovery. Today, we're talking to Mike Lappin of Ligl, a company that iCONECT is doing some substantial integration work with right now. Welcome, Michael.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Good stuff. Hey, tell us a little bit about Ligl, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, I've been an e-discovery geek for a really long time, like multiple decades. And so, you have to look a little bit to find things that are interesting and new and compelling, right?
Right.
And I've been friends with the leadership of this company for a number of years, and they've complemented a variety of solutions that I've worked on. But the reason why I came is because of the exciting things we're doing now with iCONECT, and then just generally within our own, sphere of software that we're building.
Right.
And that's why I'm excited about it. To start something fairly new. I haven't been here that long, but I really love the fact that we're empowering a whole new culture of users. We've got a breadth of automation and orchestration that I haven't seen before. We're creating new efficiencies and ease of use. And then we're working with the best of breed complementary partners in processing and review. And that's iCONECT.
Right. And the actual core platform itself does what for those who are listening and watching that maybe don't understand what the legal technology actually does for them?
Yeah. So the legal platform is web-based and is generally deployed in the cloud. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it starts us off on the right foot as far as an e-discovery event. So what we do is we connect into a directory, an active directory of custodians, and we build out cases that house custodians, and we do very robust and automated legal hold notification.
Right.
So let's get started there. And then we move into the ability to map data sources for a number of different enterprise class repositories and connectors, so that we then can preserve in place all of that user created data that we know is the sort of the central cast characters in an e-discovery event. And then once that preservation has happened, we can do collection. So as we need to, we can collect the data and then move it into the iCONECT platform for processing. And then once the processing is completed, deduplication and OCR and exclusion and exception handling has happened. Then we can move the data right up into the iCONECT review platform so that our users, the lawyers and the paralegals, can do what they do best, which is consider the material aspects of a case.
Right.
We make that automated. We make it easy. We keep it all in a single interface that's easy to use, all with great analytics, dashboards, and instantaneous reporting around the progress. The chain of custody is solid, and then people can, they can ease their way through these cases without so much worry and concern for disparate different tools that have to be used along the way.
Right.
So that's why I think it's cool. It just helps people go faster and more defensively moving through cases.
Got it. And I mean, certainly when I look at it, it's sort of think of it as a big lake of data that a client has, and that data isn't necessarily in one spot, it's in multiple spots, and you've got the ability to query all of those multiple spots, find the documents that are relevant, pull them back into a collection, and virtually instantly go and stand up a case that only contains that subset so that you can go to town and on your standard review practices. So it's very cool. Is there a specific location or business sector that you think is really a sweet spot for the legal technology?
Well, we're happy to help just about anybody who needs it. Large or small, government, law firm, corporation, but our focus is really on corporations, and they come in a variety of flavors. Believe it or not, there's still some small and medium businesses, commercial businesses that don't have e-discovery solutions like Ligl Connect. It's hard to believe, but it is true. So that's one of the sort of customer personas that we have today, and that is a new e-discovery customer that knows they have to do notification, they know they have to preserve and collect.
Right.
That seems to be an entry point for us. The other one, we do have a group of grizzled veterans, right? So people that already own some of the solutions that we've known over the last decade or more.
Sure.
And they tend to like the idea of doing some automation, making that repeatable, doing some good case management, and then just sort of pushing the work on some people that are paid to do it rather than having IT people squeeze in a second or third job.
Yeah.
Actually, getting some lawyers and some paralegals and some people that work with the legal departments to do more of the work for themselves.
Yeah.
So that's the other entry point, is someone who wants to transition the way they do e-discovery because they've done it for years, and maybe they have point products or whatever. I would say our success right now has been in energy companies. So we're in a couple of those, and we're working together at iCONECT with one of those. We have a couple of financial clients, pharmaceutical clients, and then we even have a couple of big universities that have been addicted to using consultants and are now looking at using Ligl to offload some of that and actually bring some of the costs down by using our system. So we're kind of all over, but corporations is really the focus for us.
Got it. Got it. And you mentioned you've been doing e-discovery for a while. I'm sure you can touch on that in your answer to this query. But even prior to that, you've got a very interesting past, a little bit of rock and roll in your past we were talking about earlier. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing, what you are doing, maybe what you still do in your spare time. If you got a couple of guitars or a drum set kicking around in the office that you're in right now, and more importantly, how I'm kind of in the same boat. All the things I have done in previous lives have all sort of culminated together to help me do what I now do. And I'm sure your situation isn't much different.
Yeah, when I was in college, I was an archaeologist. I lived in Greece and I dug up things and published them, and it was a very rich humanities education. And my parents weren't all that excited about it because I left engineering school to actually do that stuff.
Right.
At the same time, I was playing music, right? And I moved to San Francisco after college, and I built a recording studio and played lots of shows all over the West Coast, was on the radio, had an album, played with some big bands and things like that. And then I had been a cook, right? Because that's what you do in San Francisco, is you work at restaurants. And so I cooked for 14 years, but then I got this big break at this litigation support firm where I was able to work on learning about how this stuff works. So e-discovery, long before it had an E on the front of it. We were serving subpoenas, we were microfilming records, and then we were printing them on paper and giving them to both sides of any number of personal injury, workers' comp cases all throughout California. So it was a very busy time, but I actually learned a ton about how we do this. And that whole humanities education, all those things, and learning how to write and how to be argumentative and how to communicate was really a big background for why I've been successful in this. And when I get passionate about a piece of technology, then I can actually, get excited and tell people and almost, do a demonstration that's almost like a performance, right? Yeah. So when we demonstrate this stuff, we make it look really, really good. There's some fireworks going off, right? So e-discovery, kept going all the way through the early days of EDRM, which I was a member, and I was working with Veritas and Symantec and Clearwell. And then finally, I was a founding member 10 years ago of Nuix. Yeah. And then just recently gotten over here to Ligl so we could be partners, which is exciting because it is a small world, but yet there's so many new technologies to explore that we need to vet and make sure they're really good and all that. Right. So yeah, it's been a long history, but it's been a good one.
Yeah, well, and you talk about having seen a lot of companies out there that kind of do what everybody else does. I mean, I think there's that kind of mainstay of companies that get the job done, but every now and then you see that kind of glimmer of excitement and that glimmer of a company that's not only dealing with what we're working with today, but they're also looking over the horizon, going, wait a minute, I think we have a better solution for that. That's really where Ligl falls into play, and I think the combination of what Ligl is doing and what iCONECT's doing is going to be something pretty exciting for corporations and some of the other opportunities that we look at.
Yeah, I tell you, I think the two most exciting things that we are doing technically in this business is artificial intelligence and automation. Automation is a pragmatic and practical way to make work better, easier, faster, and more repeatable. But then, the artificial intelligence is what allows us to go through more data more quickly, more confidently. And that's what iCONECT is doing. So I think the synergy really is very solid, very logical, makes a ton of sense. And I think we're seeing that with some of the customers that you and I are going in to talk to. They're getting it. They're nodding their
Yeah.
head down
Yeah.
on Zoom, and they're getting it.
And it's amazing, when you sort of show them a little diagram, they kind of have that aha moment where they go, "Oh, now I get it." And we find that as well. If we can get them to understand a very specific or a very simplistic diagram, everything else, then you can layer on all the nuances of the technology. So it's a great way to present what can be a complex concept, but in such a way that it's very, very consumable and very understandable. And ultimately you get them, at anyone we're talking to kind of go, "Oh, I get it, and I can do that." And if they feel empowered that they can do it, then everybody's a winner. And I mean, as you look over the horizon, not only for legal, but also for this industry, you talked about AI as an area which is becoming more and more adopted. I mean, we're already all using it in our everyday lives with the Spotifys and the Amazons of the world. I think people are kind of finally getting that message that, wait a minute, I'm already using AI. I shouldn't be intimidated to use it in a legal situation. What else beyond AI is maybe interesting? I know you've got, for example, a lot of connectors to a lot of end data points right now. That roster of connectors continues to expand. Is that or other things on the horizon for you?
Yeah, so our framework is there, right? So all the stuff I've discussed that we do, that's ready to rock. So we can do that on-prem, hybrid, or in the cloud. But yes, you are absolutely right. The future for us is in the future of data, right? It's all about the data. Who's making it and what in the heck is this stuff? So we are expanding our connections and our connectors to different places. And we're doing some of that same thing around preserving that data in place via an API call. And we're doing a collection in different ways, forensic or less than forensic. So it's all about the treatment of the data. And some of the new connectors we've got coming out are very compelling. We just released Zoom. So here we are on a Zoom call right now. So this can be now preserved in place and collected in the Zoom cloud. And so that's a good one. We're actually making a connection to ONA, which is a sort of a new age online archive concept, which if you've been in archiving as long as me, you kind of say, well, that sounds like something we used to do called Enterprise Vault. So we're doing ONA, and guess what? We're also doing Enterprise Vault. So the APIs are pretty rich there. And of course, Clearwell used them. Yeah. And so we're going to be adapting to that so we can execute the preservation in Enterprise Vault, and then we can extract data out of those APIs from the vault. Right. And that's still a popular platform. I mean, 20,000 enterprises still own that thing.
Yeah, well, I think there's a number of softwares out there that one might think of as legacy, that being almost 20 years old now, but yet some of them are still the mainstay of corporations, law firms, and businesses alike. So very exciting. Yep, go ahead.
We got Druva and Splunk. Those are there. Looking seriously at structured data. I was on the phone with a big Fortune company this week, and they said, well, where's SQL and Oracle? And I said, well, usually in breach detection, incident response, I get it. Cybersecurity with the structured data, I get that. Sure. But e-discovery, huh? And he said, yeah, we've got tons of engineering, stuff in there. Pharmaceuticals put all kinds of formula and testing information, and that becomes part of the discussion. So we are looking pretty serious at other structured data sources, common databases that have open APIs. Of course, we use SQL in the back end of our product, so it's not going to be that hard for us to adapt to that one. And then another really fun one that I want to tell you about is, in '96, when I got over to CT Corporation, one of the oldest, legal services companies in the world, 120 years, I worked there as a corporate paralegal, and they have a matter management system. So they take in these subpoenas that I used to serve, and that's the beginning. I mean, that's the very beginning of the case. Right. So we're going to be connecting into their API to then transfer the information about these cases right into legal with the custodians and the courts, and all of the legal documents are going to be right there ready to go, so that notifications can go out spontaneously almost, and then away we go, right? So we're looking at more breadth, more data, and more connections to it.
Right, and you guys have at that point sort of become the chessboard, and all of those various data pieces are moving around on that chessboard. But the chessboard that's sort of connecting everything together, or the hub of the hub of the spokes of a wheel, that really is the foundation of the legal technology.
Yeah, That's right. And boy, that sounds exciting. You make me excited that we're here, because I think we're on to something.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see the team grow and to try to convince everybody that, yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Good. And how can people find out more about Ligl? I know we've done a press release with you guys, but the Ligl itself has a story to tell, and I'm sure some materials, collateral, demos, things like that. How do people learn more?
Yeah, that's a good one. Our press release, boy, that got a lot of hits. I had a lot of calls from people that were like, okay, well, tell me how do I get part of this? How do I get to be part of the fun here? But we do a pretty aggressive Tuesday and Friday LinkedIn posting schedule under just LIGL, Ligl. So there's some really nice, colorful GIFs and things, easy to ingest and sort of reflect on. They're just a few words about some of the features, some of the cool features that we do.
Yeah,
so those are fun. So I always like those and share those. And then we also concurrently will tweet those as well. So we're on Twitter, and we have a lot of sort of weekly tweets. We probably do 1 or 2 weekly tweets. And then I write a blog usually about once a month. I get one out, and it's usually about something I think is interesting. We've got some things coming out around low code and no code solutions, about automation. So the website ligl.io does have some nice blogs to read if you have a few minutes. They're short, 5 to 10 minute reads. And then we have a white paper series coming out as well, which will be fun. We're going to try to confront some of these ideas that, that commoditization is happening in our industry, and that we need to be innovative. We need to look for bigger and better goals that help our lawyers and help our customers and things like that. So hopefully some things that generate a little bit of controversy, a little bit of press. So that's coming out too. So we'll have a white paper link on our website that you can read more about some of our thoughts on it. And our CEO, Nitin Kumar, he's quite a business builder, right? And he's been around building small businesses, and he's got a lot of unique ideas on how we do this and using artificial intelligence to create content.
Right.
So that'll be interesting too, just to see, his take on what we do, what you and I've been doing for years.
Yeah.
He's kind of newish to the digital discovery world. So that's going to give us a unique spin.
Great. Well, innovation is never a bad thing. And that's what we've been talking about today. Here on weCONECT, we've been speaking with Michael Lappin, the VP of Solution Engineering at Ligl. You've heard a bit about what they do. Yeah, I think you've heard a little bit about how they integrate with the iCONECT technology, and now you know how to learn more. So Michael, thank you for your time today, and look forward to exciting times ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. We got deals we're working on. I'm excited to work together with the customers, and Bain Huggins on your team, of course, as he and I are thick as thieves, and we're excited about a couple of these new companies we're working with. So thanks for having me.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
weCONECT, brought to you by iCONECT, making information accessible.